These are the 7 police tactics that I see over and over again following a defensive gun use used to break you down. Guys, let's get into it. Now, before I start these, I want to be very clear about something, and it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people to hear this. Cops are allowed to lie to you. That is not an anti-police statement. I've got close personal friends who are cops, but cops are allowed to lie to you. You know what they say if a cop lies to someone and that person gives some sort of critical piece of information up to help the investigation, make an arrest? We call that good police work. Don't fall for it. You need to understand what your duties can be at times and what your rights always are. This is very, very common. They're going to say something like this. So, are you 100% sure that what you saw was a gun? Or are you 99% sure that it was a gun? Because it could have been a cell phone. You said it was dark. This happened at night. Most of the time it does. But are you sure that was a weapon that you're saying he raised and pointed towards you? You can see where this one goes. And there's a reason why it's so often used. Because it's so incredibly effective. Once you open the door for the fact that you were not 100% certain, maybe you're 99% certain. You know what we call that? We start to call that guilty. That's what that starts to look like. Because the moment that you're not 100% certain that the bad guy was holding a gun against you, trust me, if they talk to the bad guy, they will be 100% certain that they did not have a gun. By the time that a criminal has graduated to robberies, home invasions, things like that, most of the time, there's a pretty good bet that they know how to handle law enforcement. And it does not start with 99%. It starts with being 100% certain. Don't fall for this trap. The turnaround. All right, congratulations. You survived tactic number 1. But you're going to get a question like this. All right, so you're saying you're 100% sure he was armed. I hear ya. But I've got witnesses who say that he was turning around at the time that you started to shoot. Yeah, the turnaround. Even if someone has a firearm, and even if we can see the fact that they're the one that was trying to rob you, they were the bad guys, you were the good guys, guess what? Once they start to retreat in about every single jurisdiction in America, you can no longer use deadly force. If someone breaks into your home and if they start fleeing, this is where Castle Doctrine says you cannot shoot. Remember, Castle Doctrine creates a presumption that you are in fear of reasonable death or great bodily harm. The reason why that P word presumption is so critical is because it's followed by an invisible R word that only us lawyers know about, rebuttable. If the prosecution can introduce evidence to show that, look, that presumption can be rebutted by the fact that the bad guy started to run, suddenly the shoe might be on the other foot about who can legally use deadly force to protect themselves. And there's nothing worse than being the victim of a home invasion where suddenly, because you misunderstood what the law is, the bad guy shooting at you in his self-defense and the cops might be on his side. Don't fall for that. If you only use deadly force when the threat is deadly, and you never pull the trigger when someone's turning around, then don't let cops convince you or get you to introduce a shadow of a doubt that the bad guy was turning around. This is one that a lot of you probably have heard if you've gone through any amount of training, because it's so big that I have found that this has even saturated and worked its way down to many different concealed carry classes. And that's this. Why did you have to shoot more than once is what the cop's going to say. Now, rest assured, if you shoot once and that's all it took and the bad guy went down or they start retreating, you stop shooting. If the threat has ended, you stop shooting. You lose your legal privilege to use deadly force if you are no longer confronted by a deadly threat. Retreat, withdrawal, all these things can signify, under many but not all circumstances, that the deadly threat is over. I say many but not all because obviously if they're backing up while shooting at you, well, you are still in a deadly force scenario. So you need to be there to make the right judgment call. Yes, that's a lot of pressure. You will be cherry-picked. there will be months and even years of Monday morning quarterbacking going on by, I assure you, cops, prosecutors, judges, maybe even a jury, a team of forensic experts, you name it. I'm not telling you that to be fair or to be nice. I'm telling it to you so that you know what's going to happen. You only shoot when you have to shoot, period. If the threat is over, you stop. If you followed that, then the answer to the question that you will likely get from law enforcement of why did you shoot him more than once is simple. He was still a threat when I shot him the second or third time. Keep in mind, this is not a Hollywood movie. In Hollywood, the good guy shoots the bad guy flops down, grabs his chest, threat over, done. Real life doesn't work like that at all. Real life is horrific. It is messy. It is anything but clean. Sometimes you do get those so-called Hollywood stops, but oftentimes you do not. You shoot to stop the threat, and you stop once the threat has been stopped. We appreciate you joining us for this video. If it's your first time, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button for all of you out there. And my question for the discussion in the comment field below is this: which one do you find most interesting and most helpful? And if I were to make a longer second video, what else do you think should be included that I didn't have time for here today? Let me know in the discussion below. Now back to the video. Sometimes defensive gun use cases take place in public, and when that happens, you may not be alone. And no, I'm not talking about your friends and family. We will get to them in a moment. I'm talking about passerbys, good Samaritans, someone driving through, who knows? But the cops may use that. Keep in mind, they are allowed to lie to you. So when they say, we know that you're lying because we've got 3 witnesses that said that you shot when there was no weapon out. You shot a defenseless person. You shot somebody who was trying to run away or who said they surrendered, or you name it. You have to understand that this is a very common interview technique that you don't have to like, you don't have to agree with, but you need to know about so you do not fall for it. Even if someone else did say that and the cops are not lying, who cares? What matters is the truth. You need to make sure that if you are talking, which you should never do without an attorney, but if you are talking, you are only saying the truth. There may unfortunately be many days, weeks, months, or years for you to deal with whether or not the cops lie to you about what other people are saying, or if other people, whether or not they're lying, or maybe they just saw it wrong. Keep in mind, this was likely very stressful for them as well. But the bottom line is this: don't change your story because you have some sort of herd mentality in the back of your brain that the cops are trying to click into here, just because they're saying someone else said that they saw it differently. Don't fall for it. Stick to your guns. Here's another common one: trying to get you to admit that you pulled out your gun and pointed it at the bad guy first. Classic. So classic, this comes up, I would say, in well over half the cases that I see out there. Why is this important? After all, the guy or men who are trying to rob you, they've got a record a mile long. Why are we believing them? Because if the cops can get you into admitting something false, that you produced a firearm first, let alone pointed it at another individual, then maybe they just pulled weapons out to defend themselves against you. See how ridiculous this can be? But again, other witnesses, particularly the bad guys, if they were questioned, will invariably say, almost every time in my experience, that you pulled out a gun first and pointed it at them. Expect it. This play may likely be coming, depending upon whether or not they were able to interview a bad guy. Don't get angry if it does, but be firm and tell the truth. Police will slow walk you through your entire story again and again and again. Imagine this. I ask you what you had for dinner yesterday night. And I not only ask you what you had for dinner, I'm going down into details of how long did you cook it for? What temperature did you set the oven? Or how long did you set the microwave for? Did you stir it and then reheat it? How many bites did you take with your right hand or left hand? What did you pour for drink? Did you have to do a refill? Walk me through the order. When did you take your sips? All that kind of stuff. And I bring you through in excruciating detail your supper plans yesterday night, the discussion about what happened, who you were with, what were they wearing, was he wearing a red tie or a blue tie, whatever else the case may be, right? And then I ask you all that again. Someone who's very thorough, it may take you an hour or longer to walk through what happened in a 30-minute dinner yesterday night if you ate it with multiple other people. You get to the end of that hour and now you reboot and start all over again, even if you have every hope to do nothing but tell the truth. Do you think you're going to be able to state everything exactly the same? My experience says probably not. And especially if we start layering into that the stress, the adrenaline, the fact that your self-defense shoot probably happened at night, you're probably low on sleep, your blood sugar's down, Lord knows what your medical status situation is with prescriptions and all that other kind of stuff. You may likely falter. And when that happens, when you contradict yourself, law enforcement may have a word for it. It starts with an L. Is he lying? Why are you lying? Are you lying now or are you lying later? And what else now are you lying about? You opened up that door by playing that game. Don't. The best thing you can do, but it's so critical, I'm just going to throw it in here. If an officer's involved in a shooting, they generally get a lawyer in 2 to 3 days to calm themselves, collect themselves before they make a statement. If they make a statement. You deserve no less. I'm telling you these things so that you know what's coming. Not so that you will do it. If anything, I'm trying to get you to get an attorney before you ever make a statement. And not just any attorney, but a competent attorney as well. You will falter. If you were with or around family and friends at the time of the incident or following that, what are they going to be saying? If they were there at the time, law enforcement will absolutely be crawling all over them to make their own statements, and they may be subjected to a lot of the same tactics that you just saw here. How do you think they're going to do? Is it a smart idea for them to maybe wait before they give a statement? What about friends and family who weren't there? They are naturally going to be asking you questions about exactly what happened. Well, guess what? If you give them answers, you've now turned them into something. Witnesses. Yeah, there's spousal privilege under the law, but there's not sister-in-law privilege or father-in-law privilege or brother privilege or things like that. You need to understand that until you talk to an attorney and until they give you permission about what you can share with who, if ever at all, you need to be keeping your mouth shut. It is very likely and predictable that law enforcement, basic law officer 101, they will divide and conquer. They will separate all the potential witnesses from one another and start asking them stories, and then they will come back to base and compare stories, then go back out to them. Again, the best thing you can do is not to play. There's no sense in locking yourself into a story that may or may not be true because you're jacked on adrenaline. You're jacked on caffeine. Maybe it's 2 a.m. and you just slammed an energy drink or coffees trying to bootstrap yourself into not making a mistake. That is not your best foot forward, and that's not the time for friends, family, or yourself to be making a statement. If you take anything away from this video, I hope it's this. The only way to win is not to play. If, God forbid, you or a loved one is ever involved in a defensive gun use encounter, talk to a competent attorney who has been there before and is ready to stand by your side. That is what you need to do. I'm not giving you this information so that you can go and win a gladiator spar off with police at one of the lowest and the most stressful moments of your life. I'm giving you this information truthfully to try to motivate you into, God forbid, calling an attorney if you ever find yourself in this situation. Let me know in the comment field down below which one was most interesting to you. And if I were to make a longer video, what other thoughts should I include in that second follow-up video? If I get enough interesting things, I'd be more than happy to follow up with that. Don't forget to hit that like. And now to close with our ever popular quote of the day. This one comes from noted Greek thinker Epictetus. Quote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you need to do." You need to be out of prison for you and your family, which means educate yourself, train, know the laws, make the right calls when the chips are down. And that includes not only in the kinetic force encounter with the bad guy, but in the just as deadly force encounter with law enforcement that follows. Because if you survive but go to prison for the rest of your life, That's a shallow Pyrrhic victory. Appreciate you sticking around with me. Don't forget to hit that like button. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this one, please feel free to check out some of our other great content, and we'll see you in the next one.